So welcome everyone. My name is Stephanie Swim. I am an admissions counselor here at Binghamton University. I am also an alum, so I came to Binghamton for my undergraduate experience in our School of Management. And then I pursued my MPA in our College of Community and Public Affairs. So I was here for both my undergraduate and graduate degree. So I'm going to get started. You are joining us today for our Government Policy and Law session hosted by our award-winning Fleischman Career and Placement Center, which is awesome. I'm going to do a little bit of kind of just an intro to Binghamton, just a general overview of admissions related material, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kathleen, and she's going to talk to you about the presentation today and everything that they want to share. So I'll get started. Just before we begin, I wanted to cover a couple of housekeeping items. Please feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen throughout the presentation. You can ask questions there. We are going to leave a little bit of time at the end to answer some of those questions. We have a student perspective here today too. You'll meet her a little bit later. Her name is Luz, and she'll share some experiences too. So please feel free to use that Q&A function. We want to have some questions to answer for you today. And throughout the presentation, maybe as you view more, you'll come up with some more questions. So definitely feel free to utilize that. So I'm going to get started. Today, our main focus is career clusters and/or professional pursuits for those of you interested in politics, local and state and federal government opportunities, and most certainly law opportunities. These are all endeavors that are really popular at Binghamton. So our pre-law track is certainly one of them. So definitely pay close attention to kind of what we have to talk about today and how you can take advantage of that, because that's something that's very well cultivated here at Binghamton. All right, there we go. Having trouble there. All right, so just a general overview. Binghamton has about 14,000 undergraduate students. We have about 3,000 as in a first year class on average. We do have programs from our business school for students interested in accounting and business administration. We have our Watson School of Engineering, which is for students interested in different parts of engineering as well as computer science. We have a direct entry nursing program called our Decker School of Nursing. And we also have our College of Community and Public Affairs for students interested in kind of nonprofit and public sector work. But by far our largest school is our Harper College of Arts and Sciences. This is for students interested in all the different sciences, natural, biological sciences, social sciences, as well as different arts programs. So art and design, music programs, cinema, drama, and theater. So kind of all of the above. What's great about Binghamton is that we're really centrally located. We're in a great kind of nook of New York that's really central to a lot of major metropolitan areas. So that makes us really attractive to students. And we're definitely a school that's highly recruited by big companies that really seek out our high quality students. So Binghamton is definitely a school that's very popular among the top companies, certainly in the Northeast and kind of major metropolitan areas. In terms of kind of the admission side, students, this year we are test optional. So students are able to kind of choose whether or not they're interested in submitting test scores or not. My advice is always to look at our admission ranges, which is available on our website. So you can look at those and kind of see where you fall and your comfort level, and using that as a part of your application. Our mid 50% ranges for GPA is about a 93 to a 98. So that translates to a 3.7 to a 3.9. And then for SAT, for each component, it kind of hovers between a 650 and a 750. And for ACT, you're looking at about a 29 to a 32. So mid 50%, keep in mind there's students that are admitted that fall below and above those ranges. So we look at our applications very holistically, just to give you some tangibles to go by though for the next application kind of season. Okay, so Binghamton is been dubbed many names: Public Ivy, #1 New York Public University, the R1 Research Institute, and we're really kind of given those or dubbed those different accolades because of a lot of different parameters. Return on investment, value most certainly is one of them, return on investment, and certainly the outcomes and placement of our students is a big one. So, you know, we're a very diverse university. We have a lot to offer in terms of the caliber of our faculty and our staff. All of our faculty are PhDs and active in their fields. There's a lot of supplemental opportunities, like we're going to talk about today, outside the classroom, that really kind of utilizes the placement that we have and the outcomes of our students. And we have a really wide alumni network. So really all of these kind of culminate into giving you that value and that return on investment at the undergraduate and graduate level for some students. So just a quick overview of Binghamton. I'm now going to turn it over to Kathleen, and she's going to talk about the politics, government, and law career clusters today. So go ahead, Kathleen. Thank you so much.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Kathy Boyce, and I am the Events and Operations Coordinator at the Fleischman Career Center. I'm just going to run through a couple of slides very quickly, just to give you an idea of what the career clusters are like, and specifically the government policy and law cluster. So career clusters are groups of similar career paths developed to help you easily explore a variety of career options and organize your search. Career clusters are purposefully not attached to an academic major because your major does not equal your career. Instead, they expose you to a wide variety of career fields, areas, and roles, and show you the value of your transferable skills that you're getting both in and outside the classroom. Career clusters are going to connect you to people, information, and resources, and help you explore interests and opportunities within that cluster. To receive customized information on a career cluster, just go to the career tools link that you see there and update your profile and preferences. As you can see here on this slide, we have 7 career clusters, and like Stephanie said, we're going to be going over the government policy and law cluster now. So Stephanie, if you can go to the next slide. Okay, and as I mentioned before, your career clusters can help you understand that your major does not equal your career. The government policy and law cluster in particular covers a wide variety of opportunities, including those at all levels of government, law, policy, public affairs, and so much more. If you have an interest in problem solving, analytics, public policy, international law, public service, even education, and not-for-profit organizations, there's opportunities in this cluster for all of those and more. If you want to move on to the next slide. So as you can see here, there's opportunities for majors and minors that you would expect to see in the government policy and law cluster. But remember, like I said, your major does not equal your career, so there's much more to explore here. Students from a wide variety of majors are going to find that their transferable skills and interests lend themselves well to opportunities within this cluster. Maybe you're interested in education policy or advocacy. Maybe explore opportunities with organizations like Success Academy. Maybe you're interested in education. Maybe you're interested in renewable and sustainable energy. There's opportunities you can see here with Tesla and Avangrid or NYSEG, which is a electric and gas company. Maybe you find more value in service organizations like the Peace Corps. There's opportunities focusing on agriculture, education, environmental, and other areas of interest there. Maybe healthcare advocacy is your passion. You're going to find something maybe with cybercrime investigating as well somewhere in there. You can see just a few of some of the recent opportunities noted here, but there's so many more to explore. If you go into the cluster and search in those areas, you're going to find a wide variety of opportunities. You can be a part of more than one cluster area, just so that you know you are welcome to adjust those clusters that you're a part of. So be sure to check those out and explore different ones that are of interest to you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Junie Bernier to go through a few more slides.
Great. So thank you for that. My name is Junie Bernier. I work at the Fleischman Center on CDCI internship. It's the largest internship program on campus. And so when you're ready, come see us. So I'm going to run through these slides fairly quickly so you can spend most of your time with Luz and get a student perspective. So student organizations, we strongly encourage students to get involved with one or more of these organizations. They are a great way to meet new students. They hold regular events, bring in different speakers. It's a great way to start your networking and connect with alumni. Then there is the Career Tools resource. And what that does is it gives you events and information, articles from professionals, all specific to this cluster. So it's like a one-stop shop if you're looking for an event, if you're looking for information about a certain policy position or attorney position. This is a great way to find that information out. It is also a super great resource for internships and job positions as well. So Stephanie, can we do the next slide? Thanks. So here you can see that students can research the career outcomes of the alumni from different programs offered here at Binghamton University. And as you can see here, this is the salary and percentiles for the political science program. You can search nationally. You can search if you're looking for a specific geographical region throughout the country. You can compare programs and really mine the data of any positions or interests that you might have. And the next slide. Okay, so Cassie Spencer from the Fleischman Center, she's a career consultant. She holds what we call all-ins, and she has discussions with alumni, and they go through their different experiences when they were students here at Binghamton University, what they loved the most, what they found most helpful in terms of courses and support for other areas. And so for this one, Raven is going to tell us about her career goals because she's currently a student at law school. And this is her discussion of what she hopes to do when she graduates law school.
Nice, awesome. So kind of looking ahead post law school, you've finished that, you've been successful. What are some of your career goals and where do you kind of hope to take your law career?
Yeah, so right now, I'll start with what I wanted to do before I even applied to law school. I was really focused on some type of public interest work. My background had mostly been in immigration and human rights based. And honestly, that's a really niche area of law, not immigration, but if you want to do human rights specifically. And also going through my first year, I realized it could be a bit better to go to a firm first because you get really good experience at a firm quickly. And there's a lot of exit options because once you have that on your resume, they're going to know where you were trained, that you know how to do the work and you know how to do it well. So right out of law school, that's my goal. I don't really think I want to stay there for too long, specifically because they're long hours. I mean, you get paid well, but you get paid well for a reason. I would eventually like to clerk for a judge, which most people who are interested in like doing litigation and being in court, it's a really good experience to look into because you develop a really good relationship with a judge and how they form their opinions, and you're going to get a lot of experience with more research and writing and specifically hands-on in the chambers. And so hopefully after that, end goal is to work for the government because I think it's just a good middle ground in public interest to not work at an NGO, still have stable hours, interesting, intellectually stimulating work. I mentioned that I interned at the State Department. So at that time, I had the option I met with a lot of people who worked in the legal department within state, and they all were really interested and really loved their jobs. So that made me very interested in going back. I'm hoping to do like a semester-long externship there before I finish school. So these are end ideal goals. Yeah. Who knows? I'm open to any at this point, but those are
Great. So that's just a little snippet of some of these conversations. And if you're interested, you can find them all on the Career Tools site. And so lastly, Mentor Match. Mentor Match allows students to connect with alumni in the different fields. It gives you a great chance to talk to someone, get recommendations, have your questions answered. Maybe there's an area that you're not quite sure if you're interested or not. And this offers you a place to go to speak to professionals in that area and find out what their day-to-day is and their career paths, and maybe helps you determine whether or not you really want to pursue that area. It's a great way to start your professional networking. And it's a great way to speak with individuals in a variety of positions and a variety of, clusters and areas of those different areas. So that's all I have. So I don't know if you want to take it back, Steph.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you both, Kathleen and Judy. That was really informative and definitely gave prospective students, some admitted students, some great tools for learning more about Fleischman and these career clusters that you guys have to offer. So here I have Luz. She has some experience with Fleischman. I've worked with her before. She has a plethora. She's a wealth of knowledge. I'm going to let her start while I check out any questions that we may have had throughout. I'm going to let her start and kind of share her experience, and then we'll go further with some questions that you guys may have. So go ahead, Luz.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Luz. I work at the Fleischman Center. So I am currently the Student Director of Programming and Diversity Initiatives. But aside from that, I'm currently a senior. I am the person where it fits perfectly that your major does not equal your career. So I'm a psychology major, but I'm also minoring in immigration studies and Latin American and Caribbean area studies on the PreLaw track. And I was admitted and will be going on to get my master's in political science with an emphasis on United Nations and global policy, and a specialization in human rights, gender equality, and international law. But it took a long time for me to figure out what I wanted to do and just how to navigate the resources available to me to get to my future goal, which is to get my master's and eventually go on to law school as well. So I want to give you a little breakdown of some of the resources I utilized at Binghamton that were very instrumental for me in regards to achieving my future goals. So within my first year, I started off as a computer science major, really out of left field, not really aligned with anything I'm going to be doing in the future. But that's usually what happens with a lot of students. It's very normal to change your major, figure it out as you go. And that's why I really like to emphasize that Fleischman is so critical of a resource for you to utilize, because they helped me personally find out what are some opportunities that I could delve into to kind of really see what my passions are and what I want to do. And then they also can sit down with you one-on-one and kind of talk about, okay, what are the options available to you? Usually if you're a political science major, you think, oh, I have to be a politician, or I have to follow more like a traditional route, but there's just so many opportunities within these career clusters that you may not even know about until you sit down with a career consultant and get that information. So I always recommend from the first day you walk on campus, even if you're like, I want to be a lawyer, come into the Fleischman Center, because there's so many things you could be doing to get to that goal. And it could help you even discover other areas of interest that you may not be aware of. So some opportunities that I've engaged in during my time at Binghamton that have really helped me succeed were internship and also fellowship opportunities. Internships are more traditional. Most students know what those are. But I also am here to talk about the importance of like fellowship opportunities during your undergraduate career. So if I had the privilege, I'm currently doing a fellowship right now with a national organization, which is the largest civil rights organization in the US that serves the Latino population, called Unidos US. And this is, so a fellowship, just to give you a little bit of context, is more so of a year-long commitment with an organization. So think of it as like a year-long internship where you're working with this organization to fulfill a mission or a goal. So mine is a public policy fellowship that I'm currently doing. And the goal of the program is to kind of expose you to what the policymaking sphere looks like. Our fellowship is more so focused on education policy. So learning what that looks like, getting trained in those areas, and also speaking with people who are in the field and doing that kind of work right now in Washington, D.C. And I get to work with people from all across the country from different institutions. And we work together to solve an issue we're very passionate about. So I am doing education policy, as I mentioned. And so working with this organization to kind of produce a policy memo, asking for something in particular. So we're advocating for the inclusion of undocumented students in TRIO programs, and for the increased funding of TRIO programs, which service first-generation low-income students within higher education. And as a result of this fellowship, I will actually be presenting at the Hill in March, and presenting my memo to representatives and advocating for this ask, which is an amazing experience to have as an undergrad. So I'm doing policy research, putting together a policy memo, and this is stuff that you do like at a graduate level. And to have that experience as an undergrad has been so amazing. And I found out about this opportunity through the Fleischman Center by going in, vocalizing what are the passions I have, what are the areas of interest I have, and they helped me navigate that and find opportunities in that area. So that was my education policy focus. But again, I am someone who just like has a lot of passions and interests, and I'm assuming many of you are also in that area or can resonate with that as well. So I'm also interested very heavily in immigration. So I'm a daughter of immigrants. It's a huge passion of mine. And I just didn't know what kind of opportunities are available, especially as an undergrad. A lot of the internships I was searching were like for law students. And obviously I'm not in law school currently. So it was challenging at first to find these opportunities. But again, Fleischman was there to help me along the way. So I had the privilege here in the Binghamton community to intern at the American Civic Association as well as an immigration and legal services intern. And during my time at the ACA, I got to work one-on-one with clients, learn about the immigration process, learn what it's like to fill out forms for these clients that are applying for naturalization, for citizenship. So it was a very, very amazing experience because I got to learn a lot about immigration law. I got to go into the office. Even during times of COVID, I actually was able to go in and meet with my supervisor and kind of work with her, tell her what I was interested in learning. And she helped me gain that skill or the skills I wanted to in that internship opportunity. So it was really, really amazing. And that's just one example of an opportunity you can engage in here in the Binghamton community. And I also got to learn a lot. So I am bilingual. So I got to also utilize those skills and translate legal documents, learn kind of what is the operating governmental systems in other countries, and how to translate that to like policy here in the US as well. So that was really amazing for me because I got to have my fellowship where I'm learning a lot about the policy aspect, more about the governmental aspect of it. And then I had my internship at the ACA where I got to learn more so about how policy plays out within human services, how policy impacts the community. So it really made me very well-rounded. And when I interviewed for graduate school, those were two an internship and fellowship opportunity that I got asked a lot during the interview portion and got to really talk about my knowledge and experiences. And thankfully, I was admitted into my program because I had these experiences under my belt. So another thing I just want to really emphasize again is that you should definitely get started on just getting those resources and asking those questions as soon as your first year at Binghamton University. The Fleischman Center is there to help you first know how to talk about your opportunities on your resume. It's really challenging for a lot of students to vocalize what they do in these opportunities, and the Fleischman Center is there to help you with that. So my resume looked amazing for graduate school because I went to the Fleischman Center and got that one-on-one coaching to really vocalize what the skills and transferable skills I had within these fields. And then they also helped me with cover letters for all my internship opportunities. So every internship and fellowship I got, I ran my cover letter by a Fleischman career consultant who provided me that guidance with putting that together as well. And then also they helped me find these opportunities. So we have a lot of search engines and platforms that can help you find opportunities, but sometimes we do need that extra help along the way with ensuring that we're finding the right opportunities. Does it align with what I want to do? It's sometimes challenging to find those opportunities alone. And so the Fleischman Center is also there for you to come in for a meeting through Zoom, sit with the career consultant and say, hey, I'm a poli-sci major, but I don't know what internships I should be doing. What kind of companies can I work for? Should I be working for Department of State? Should I go to a think tank, to an NGO, a nonprofit? And they can help you navigate that and kind of really talk with you and see where you are, what you're striving for in the future, and really help you create an action plan to get to your future goal. So it's always important to start taking those steps towards achieving your goals, and Fleischman can help you in every step of the way there. So that's something I really want to reiterate, the importance of just asking for help in this process and using Fleischman to get to where you are, because I truly don't know where I would be without the help of the Fleischman Center and all these opportunities that now have allowed me again to get into graduate school. I'm currently applying for public policy fellowships, and I've been selected as a semifinalist for many of them, and I'm still waiting to hear back, but thanks to the help of Fleischman, I was able to make it past that stage and be a very, very competitive applicant in all these opportunities that I'm seeking post-grad. So thank you so much for your time. If you guys have any questions, I'm also happy to answer them along the way. But if not, I'll hand it back to Stephanie. So thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much, Luz. That was wonderful and so informative. We really appreciate your perspective, and you gave so much great information for attendees here today. We are getting close to the end, but I did find you guys asked a couple key questions that I think are just nice knowledge coming in if you're interested in this specific, anything related to politics, government, or law. So one of the questions that I thought was a great one was, what exactly does the pre-law track kind of look like at Binghamton, and what does that entail? And I can answer that if you guys.
Right. I can go in as well if you'd like. From a student perspective. So the pre-law track itself is not necessarily for example, pre-med has certain requirements and courses you have to take because it's very standard for medical school admission, whereas pre-law is really not like that. So the pre-law track, what it offers you is you become part of a listserv where they consistently share resources with you, internship opportunities, webinars coming up with alumni or even employers for future opportunities. And you also get access to the advising center. So they're there to help you kind of find courses and help you navigate what you should be doing to get to your end goal of going to law school. And they also guide you along the process of preparing your law school applications, your graduate school applications. So it's more so services that can be very instrumental for you to get to where you want to go. And I'll let Stephanie add if there's anything else there as well.
Yes, I just wanted to add that as most tracks are at most universities and colleges, it's a track. So there's, in addition, you're going to be still choosing a program of focus within Harper. For pre-law, a popular one certainly is philosophy, politics, and law. Political science is another popular one, but it's something that you can really, the opportunities are endless. You can choose any, you could be a cinema major and still be a pre-law track at Binghamton. So you have advising that relates to both your program as well as the additional support you would need to be applying to law school, preparing for your LSATs, and kind of like Lou said, all the resources that you need in addition to be on that track. So it really, you get a lot of support at Binghamton for that as well. I'm just going to finish up because we are kind of going over here, but I did want to cover this question because I think it's something a lot of incoming students want to know just in general, not even just related to government, politics, and law. So what are good things for incoming undergrads to do to bolster their resume for internships or just prepare themselves for internships? Is it something, is it more preparation your first year? Is it something you can really dive into? And what are kind of the different ways students can really make themselves attractive candidates to get into these internships?
So one of the biggest things you can start doing is just getting involved in those organizations we spoke about prior. So just if you're looking for like law related or legal internships, it's definitely very strong of you to have something related to that on your resume. So getting involved with these organizations or just assuming any kind of leadership roles on campus. Something I do really want to strengthen too, I was able to do research on immigration here at Binghamton too. So there's a lot of opportunities for first year students to also engage in research related to human rights, refugee issues. And every professor here has opportunities in all the departments to engage in research. That's also something that you can get involved in to start having things to add on your resume and make you more competitive for those programs. And also taking courses that you're very interested in that you think will benefit you in your intended area of law or just interests in government and law and policy. So those are some things you definitely can start doing that are definitely going to be very helpful for you when you're applying for these opportunities in the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Luz. You were such a wonderful resource for students. We love to have that student perspective here. So you always do a wonderful job at that. So we are going to end. We went a little over, but we had a lot of great information for you guys. I hope you learned a lot. A lot of these sessions we will have on the admissions homepage pre-recorded, so you could kind of follow back and check them out if you think you missed anything. Please keep your eyes open for other sessions that we will be having in the future. We're going to have an open house, a spring open house, so it's going to be a full 2 months of sessions that you can choose from. Just visit the admissions homepage at Binghamton, our visit page, and you can find different parts of the site to register for certain events. You can peruse the ones that you're interested in. We were going to cover general information sessions to student life and student service events, the faculty webinars, and to more niched topic areas like the session you were here, the one we had today. So definitely keep your eyes open for that and take advantage of all the virtual offerings that we are going to have for you this spring, because we're super excited about it. Also, I just want to take a minute to thank everybody today, Kathleen, Judy, and Luz. You guys were amazing. It was a very informative session. I think the attendees here learned a lot. And, we look forward to seeing all of you attendees in the future, hopefully not virtually, in person. And definitely, like I said, take advantage of some of the virtual stuff we have coming up. Also, before we end, check out the chat. I have put in there some just pertinent kind of links and info for you guys and ways to reach out to us if you do have more questions specifically related to what we talked about today. The hire Bing at binghamton.edu, admin at binghamton.edu. Definitely copy and paste that. And if you have questions, definitely take advantage. All right, well, thanks everybody. Appreciate you coming today. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their week going into the weekend. Take care.